Hey everyone, today we're going to do a lesson on how to turn two-dimensional objects into three-dimensional objects using some really simple shading techniques. It's really effective, but it does take a little bit of practice. So once we do this lesson, you may want to try several of these because you won't get it the first time, but it's something you'll need to practice. But once you practice this, I'm sure you'll master it very, very quickly, and you'll be drawing three-dimensional objects that look beautiful in no time at all. So let's get ready to start. Let's give it a go. Okay, for this lesson, you are going to need a grey pencil, a pencil sharpener, maybe a ruler, and a rubber. Let's get started. So we're going to start with something like maybe a circle first. So to create a circle, you might want to just trace around a circle already. I'm just going to use like a glass, an old glass that's sitting around in the shed. Okay, and I'm just going to trace around this. Now, at this point it's just a circle, but I want to turn this into a three-dimensional sphere. So what I'm going to do is assume that there is light coming from an angle. I'm going to say that the light or the sunlight or something is coming from this angle, which means everything on this part is going to be light. But it means that this part, because it's curved, is going to be in shadow. So I'm going to use a couple of little tricks here. One is something I call cross-hatching. So I'm going to just use lots of little lines. And in fact, before I do that, I'm just going to create just a very light curve around here, almost like doing a circle within the circle. Okay, and I'm just going to very lightly follow that curve around like this. Okay, but I'm not going to touch that part of it. Now I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to cross it from this side this time. And even just let some of those lines go a little bit even further into that circle. I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to come from a different angle this time. And maybe from this angle. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is build up this idea of going from dark to light gradually and not too suddenly. I should probably point out that I'm also doing this very, very lightly. I'm gradually building this up. Okay, once I've started to build this up a little bit, making sure I don't go around over my lines, I'm now going to use my finger, and I'm just going to blend this in. I'm also just going to use my rubber just to make it look a bit shiny. And just keep using your finger until it looks blended in neatly. Also use your rubber to clean up the outside. Okay, now also to give this the effect that it's a 3D object, I'm just going to darken up the back part of it. Now, because the light is coming from this angle and it's darker over here, a 3D object would also create a shadow. So I'm going to give this a shadow. Okay, and now I have what was before a circle is now turned into a sphere or a ball sitting on the page. Okay, let's try another shape. Okay, what about a cylinder? Now a cylinder is a shape that has, to create a cylinder first, we're going to create like a long thin oval. I'm going to put two edges on it, and then I'm going to join a curve at the bottom that matches this curve at the top. Something like that. Now, again, I'm going to use the idea that the light is coming from an angle, maybe from this side. So for this, I'm going to just, again, I'm going to shade this from one side. And I'm going to keep like a line, a straight line down here. I'm going to keep building this up from the edge inwards. Again, I'm going to blend this with my finger. And again, I'm just trying to get it from darker to lighter and a little bit of darkness again on the edge here. Now, again, I'm just going to use my rubber just to neaten up my edges. Also create some highlights. And I'll just shade a little bit of this in here. Now, again, this is a 3D object now, so I'm going to give it a shadow. And for this shadow, I'm just going to come from the bottom and then imagining this curving around. So I'm going to come a little bit higher this time and give it a curved shadow. And now I'm just going to fill that in. Now we have a 3D cylinder. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, this time we're going to have a go at drawing a cone. I'm going to do an upside down cone so it's sitting on its base. So to draw a cone, we're going to draw like a triangle. And we're going to now just give it a curved base. So it's now like a thin slice of pizza or something. Okay, we want this shape. So once again, I'm going to create the light that comes from the side angle here, and it'll be darker on this side. So I'm just going to build up this edge with darkness. I'm keeping like a sort of a straight line down the middle here. Again, I'm trying to go gradually from dark to light. Now I'm going to use my finger again to blend this in. Now, if you're like me, you'll find that you'll smudge over the edges. So just use your rubber to neaten the edges up. Okay, now once again, I'm going to create a shadow. But this time my shadow will have a point to it because it's going to show the top of the cone. So I'm going to start from the bottom and bring my shadow out. And imagine this will come around, so my shadow will come from about here. A pointy shadow, and I'm going to colour that in. And there we have a 3-dimensional cone.